Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Tonight, I want to see what is possibly the first contender for one of my favourite movies of 2020. That was Sam Mendes' 1917, and it focuses around two young Tommies who are sent on a mission through a battle ravaged France to get to a front line and prevent an offensive which will cause the needless death of 1,600 men. The characters are brilliant. My favorite character is Lance Corporal Schofield, played amazingly by George McKay. He has such heart and such pathos, and he's struggling. He's trying to do his best to get to this line before these men are sent to their deaths for no apparent reason. And it's an amazingly shot movie. The way it's shot is it looks like it's all one take. The choreography is fantastic. The music is fantastic. Probably one of my favorite scenes is where Schofield is sneaking through a bombed out city, and there's an artillery barrage going off, and it goes from light to dark to light to dark, and the music, the operatic music builds up, and you're just on the edge of your seat the whole time. McKay, as he's entering and leaving the city, it looks like he's entering the gates of hell, which is war. This film totally pushes forward the idea that war is a senseless and pointless endeavor. And while the likes of, say, Saving Private Ryan have kind of pushed forward the notion that, yeah, these men were brave and they did things to stop tyranny in World War Two, the Tommies, the British soldiers that fought in World War One, they had no choice. They were conscripted, and they were basically made fight by a monarchy who just saw them as cannon fodder. And it pushes forward the ideals that war is cruel, but it also reinforces the idea that there is camaraderie in the trenches. That no matter what kind of background or lifestyle you had, you were all the same in this trench. For example, Schofield's kind of superior is younger than him, Commander Blake, and he's just this young lad who obviously got a higher position because his family, as he's telling Schofield, his mother owned an orchard and his older brother is a lieutenant. So obviously he came from a more higher up family rather than the working class Schofield, who is more experienced than Blake. But it just shows that all these guys, regardless of background, are put into the same kind of blender and have to try and survive it. The actor playing Blake, I think, is Dean David Chapman. He gives a fantastic performance, but McKay steals the show as this young Tommy who is just trying to survive the war and trying to do his best to get to the line before the offensive and before the needless death of these men. There's some fantastic supporting actors as well. You have the likes of Benedict Cumberbatch, you have Richard Madden, and if I'm not mistaken, you also have Mark Strachan as this kind of officer who gives McKay some help and some advice, which later comes into fruition. But it's an amazingly shot movie. Again, it's made to look like it's all one take. Now, I could see that, like, there's sections where the camera behind pans behind a rock, or there's a section where, like, during an artillery barrage it goes dark. So that's obviously where they hid the cuts. But it is so seamlessly done, and Sam Mendes has done a fantastic job. At the end of the movie, there's actually a tribute to possibly his grandfather or granduncle, who told him the stories of World War One, and it obviously stuck with Mendes because, again, this movie does not glorify war. Our main character gives away his medal, and the rationale behind that is like, why the fuck would you want to remember something that was so horrible and traumatizing? And it's totally understandable. But I have to give George McKay props. He done a fantastic job. He was so likable, and you just wanted him to survive. And he went through so much shit, and his performance was fantastic. If you're a history aficionado, I highly recommend you check this out. As said before, there has been other war movies, and there has been other World War One movies like either Death Watch or Warhorse, but they haven't. They've always had some other kind of theme or genre built into them. For example, Death Watch is a horror set during World War One, and Warhorse is essentially Black Beauty told via World War One. But this is a solely a World War One movie. This puts you in the boots of the Tommies. You're there. You're going through the trenches. You're experiencing and seeing what they see when they're crawling through craters that are littered with dead bodies. When they're going through farmhouses that have been abandoned, you were there with them, and Mendes does such an immense job at encapsulating what it would have been like to be on that battlefield. And I think this movie is definitely up there for one of my favorite movies of 2020. If you guys like war movies, this is one to check out. If you've read the graphic novel, the Fantastic Charlie's War graphic novel, this is a movie to check out. I highly recommend it. And yeah, this is definitely going to be one that's on my top 10 list for 2020. So my name is Martin. This has been a Trash Picture Show. And have you seen 1917? If so, what did you think? Leave your replies in the comments below. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.